This is an urgent financial alert for every holder of the Iraqi Dinar or the Vietnamese Dong who is preparing for a possible exchange in 2025. The months ahead are shaping up to be some of the most decisive we have ever seen in the currency revaluation space, and as reports continue to circulate from both regional banking sources and global market analysts, it is becoming clear that certain critical mistakes could cost investors not just profits, but the very opportunity to exchange at a favorable rate. Right now, the market is tense. Conversations between central banks, international financial institutions, and select exchange platforms are pointing toward major developments that may unfold rapidly and without the luxury of long public announcements. In this environment, knowledge is not just power, it is protection. The first and most costly mistake we continue to see from new and even seasoned holders is a failure to verify the authenticity of their currency before approaching an exchange. As the anticipation grows, counterfeit operations are flooding the market with high-quality fakes designed to pass casual inspections. Reports have emerged from both Iraq and Vietnam of batches entering circulation through unofficial brokers, often sold at attractive prices to eager buyers. Once those notes are in your hands, the burden of proof falls entirely on you. If an exchange flags your currency as invalid, there will be no recovery of funds and no opportunity to argue your case. The only safeguard is obtaining your currency through verified, documented sources and ensuring that all serial numbers, watermarks, and security features match official specifications. This is not the moment to gamble on a deal that seems too good to be true, because in 2025, the stakes are higher than they have ever been. A second and equally dangerous pitfall is failing to prepare your banking relationships ahead of time. When a revaluation event occurs, banks will not have the capacity to sit down and spend hours onboarding new customers, verifying documentation, and processing large transactions without prior notice. The accounts you intend to use must already be open, verified, and capable of handling international currency conversions and large wire transfers. There is already quiet chatter that some financial institutions may prioritize their existing premium clients, leaving latecomers to face delays, reduced service options, or even outright refusal. In a climate where timing may determine your rate, delays of even a few hours could mean walking away with substantially less than you anticipated. Those who are prepared with active, compliant accounts will be positioned to move first. Those who are not will be watching from the sidelines. The third mistake, which often stems from overconfidence, is ignoring potential tax implications. It is easy to get caught up in the excitement of projected rate changes and overlook the fact that your exchange profits may be treated as taxable income or capital gains in your jurisdiction. Governments will move swiftly to claim their share, and in some cases, tax assessments could run into 6 or 7 figures. If you enter an exchange without having consulted a qualified tax professional who understands both the currency in question and your domestic laws, you are setting yourself up for a rude shock when the assessment arrives. For many, this oversight could turn what was meant to be a life-changing windfall into a complicated, drawn-out financial burden. The time to structure your plan for legal compliance is before the first note is exchanged, not after. Another costly miscalculation is relying solely on rumors or social media updates to determine when to exchange. While there is a constant flow of speculation in online communities, much of it is recycled, exaggerated, or based on misunderstood banking terminology. This can lead to premature decisions, such as rushing to exchange at the first sign of movement, only to discover that higher rates were available hours or days later. Conversely, it can also cause hesitation when the real opportunity presents itself. This year, with certain central banks reportedly considering staggered or tiered rollouts of new exchange rates, a single missed window could be irreversible. If you do not have credible, real-time channels for confirmation, preferably direct from banking or governmental contacts, you are not operating with a strategy, you are operating on guesswork. And in 2025, guesswork is a recipe for loss. One of the more subtle but equally destructive mistakes is failing to diversify your approach. Many holders plan to walk into a single bank, exchange their full amount in one transaction, and be done with it. While that may sound efficient, it carries significant risks. Exchange rates could be adjusted in real time. Banks may impose limits on how much can be processed at the best available rate. Even transaction fees and currency spread percentages can vary from one institution to another, meaning that spreading your exchanges across multiple banks or platforms could yield a higher overall return. Furthermore, in a fast-moving market, technical outages, compliance checks, or liquidity constraints could derail a single bank strategy entirely. Those who spread their exposure across several secure channels will have far more control when the moment arrives. A related and increasingly relevant mistake is underestimating the role of currency verification technology at the exchange point. In 2025, most legitimate banks and exchange houses will rely on advanced scanning devices and databases to instantly authenticate notes. If you have stored your currency in poor conditions, exposed to moisture, fading, or physical damage, you may find that your notes fail verification, even if they are genuine. This is not an idle warning. Historical exchanges of other currencies have documented genuine notes being rejected due to condition alone. Proper storage in secure, climate-controlled environments is not optional, it is essential. The day you present your notes is not the day to discover that they have been compromised by years of careless handling. Another major trap is assuming that the first publicly available rate will be the best you can get. Currency markets are dynamic, and in a revaluation event, rates can adjust repeatedly in short bursts. In some cases, the initial spike may be followed by a higher, stabilized rate once the market absorbs the shock. In others, the reverse may occur, with early rates being the peak before aggressive downward adjustments. Without a disciplined plan for monitoring and responding to rate changes, holders risk either selling too low or holding too long. This is where prearranged exit strategies become indispensable. Those who have rehearsed their decision-making process will avoid emotional, reactive moves that cost them value. Equally dangerous is failing to account for the possibility of restricted or phased exchanges. Some experts are warning that in order to control capital flows, certain countries could implement structured rollouts where only specific note denominations, amounts, or verified holders are processed in the initial stages. If you are unprepared for this possibility, you may find yourself holding notes that cannot be exchanged for weeks or months after the first rate change. This could mean missing the optimal window entirely if adjustments occur before you gain access. Being aware of these possibilities now allows you to adjust your holdings, documentation, and logistical planning accordingly. Another persistent error is neglecting security during the exchange process itself. Large currency transactions make you a target, both physically and digitally. Walking into a bank with a high volume of notes without secure transport arrangements is a risk no serious investor should take. Likewise, transmitting banking details over unsecured networks or to unverified contacts invites theft and fraud. In the 2025 environment where opportunistic actors are actively scanning for weak points, it is essential that you treat every stage of the process, from physical handling of the currency to final deposit verification, with the same level of caution as a corporate treasury operation. One lapse could wipe out the entire value of your holdings. Finally, perhaps the most understated yet devastating mistake is emotional decision-making. When the news breaks, rates are shifting, and people around you are rushing to act, the pressure will be immense. Some will panic and accept whatever rate is first offered. Others will hold out for a rumored figure that never materializes. Both approaches are equally destructive. In the months leading up to a potential exchange event, your greatest asset is not the currency itself. It is your ability to execute a rational, predetermined plan under pressure. Those who treat the exchange as a business transaction rather than a windfall gamble will be the ones who emerge with both capital preserved and profits maximized. As we move further into 2025, all signs suggest that the environment for IQD and VND holders will become more volatile, more competitive, and more unforgiving. The combination of global monetary policy shifts, regional economic restructuring, and increasing participation from institutional players means that opportunities will be both rare and fleeting. Every step you take between now and the potential exchange window will either increase your readiness or erode it. Avoiding these mistakes is not about paranoia, it is about preparation. In the end, those who are disciplined, informed, and proactive will be in the position to capitalize fully when the moment comes. This remains a developing situation. While some of these warnings are based on historical precedent and observable trends, others are drawn from forward-looking analyses that depend on variables beyond public control. As always, it is important to remember that until official rates are confirmed by recognized financial authorities, all projected outcomes remain speculative and subject to change. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and above all, stay ready.